Okay, so today I just wanted to take a bit of a look through a book. So I have just gathered some books, some that I have gotten for my own personal use, and some that I have gotten because I thought it would be good for a video. So I've just gathered some of them here. I have two shelves with just a few books on them. So some of them, let's see, I like these larger sized. Having a thunderstorm, of course. So, but you can see they are these larger sized books here. This one here I have read a little bit from in a recent video. This is a nursing textbook. So I could read more from this book at some point. Over here on this side, I have some fiction books. These I just sort of got as background for some upcoming videos. This one here I've also used in a couple of videos. This is a medical dictionary, so I've gone over some of the definitions inside. This one here, this is another nursing textbook. This one is all about maternal and newborn women's health nursing topics. And then up on this shelf up here, okay, so I brought in just these few books here on the next shelf up. So here I have a few books that maybe you've seen videos before. This one is the Complete Essential Oils Source Book. I'm not sure if I've used this one in a video before. Can't remember. So there's that one. There's one here. I'm pretty sure I have kind of used maybe in a video. This is the Anatomy of Stretching, the Illustrated Guide to Flexibility and Injury Rehab. So I will use this book soon, I believe. Okay. And this book we have used before, and I had a lot of requests to continue with this one. This is the 20th Century book, and I just looked at first decade of events. So I will come back to this one at some point. And this one also I have used in a video just a little bit, but it is a large book with a lot of information. It's the ultimate decorating book, so I will probably come back to this one also. Okay. But for today, the one that I decided to take a look at today is this one here. This is the new Encyclopedia of the Dog by Bruce Fogel. You can see it's a large book with a lot of information in it. So I'm not going to obviously read the entire book, but I will sort of go through the contents and maybe read a few tiny little sections. We'll see, because I have not really taken a very close look at this book myself. So I'm going to get a little closer here and we'll take a look inside. Okay. So I've got the book here. Hopefully you can see it all right. So we have this dog on the front cover, and I am very horrible with types of dogs and being able to identify what type of dog it is. So you can see it's a large book. I got this one from like a thrift store. It's got a pretty red color. It has a detailed description of more than 420 breeds and varieties of dogs from around the world. An entertaining look at canines throughout history and invaluable practical advice. The new Encyclopedia of the Dog is the most comprehensive exploration of the canine world ever published. Let's see, it says it has a visual breed guide, full color photographs. Okay. Each portrait is accompanied by an authoritative biography of the breed, including its place of origin, historical development, main physical features, and temperament. It also has a complete history from how dogs evolved from wolves through the story of their domestication by early humans to their roles today as comforting friends, workers, and companions in sport. Okay. So there's a lot of information here. So I'm not sure if let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. I raised the table up just a bit. So I think that's a little easier to see. These pretty dogs. So I do love dogs, and like I said, I'm not good with knowing what breed they are. If you've watched one of my other videos, you know I like to watch the dog show every year on Thanksgiving. One year I will actually make it to the show in person. Okay, so going through the chapters. Chapter 1 goes over the development of the dog, as the evolution of the dog, distant relatives, and close relatives. And then we have Chapter 2, that's about dogs and humans. That chapter includes the first domestic dogs, dogs in folklore and religion, dogs in art, canine collectibles, dogs in literature, dogs on film, dogs in sports, dogs in the service of humans, dogs as companions. Okay, then we come down to chapter 3, and that one is titled Canine Design. And that one goes over the skeleton, the brain and senses, nerves, muscles, and movement, the heart and lungs, the gastrointestinal system, urinary and reproductive systems, the skin and coat, and biofeedback. And then chapter 4 is titled The Language of Dogs. So included there is courtship, mating and birth, growing up, the pack, aggression and affection, communication. Okay. And then chapter 5 here talks about domestic dog breeds. So there's an introduction to breed types, primitive dogs, sight hounds, Spitz type dogs, scent hounds, gun dogs, terriers, livestock and guarding dogs, companion dogs, and random bred dogs. And then chapter 6, caring for your dog. So let's see, it talks about choosing a dog, essential equipment, health and safety, feeding and nutrition, grooming, traveling and boarding, and behavioral problems. So I obviously won't be able to read this entire book to you. Little puppy. But let's see here. I just love all of the pictures, but I would like to know a lot of this information here. What a pretty dog. Pretty colors. Let's see. This says it's called a, is that a sloughy? Sloughi. Throughout Australasia, mainland Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa, feral dogs are often long, lean, and light. The sloughi was created by selectively breeding the swiftest and most obedient of the dogs. Okay. You can read the introduction a little bit. Let's see, this is a Bernese hound right here. Drop-eared, long-nosed scent hounds first evolved in Asia, but were developed to a sophisticated degree in medieval Europe. The ancestors of this Bernese hound probably arrived in the Balkans, Italy, or in Mediterranean France over 2,000 years ago through trade, travel, or migration. They accompanied people into the Bernese mountains of Switzerland. And here, this cute little dog, miniature schnauzer. Selective breeding has both enhanced and diminished the size of the dog. Miniaturization began early, at least 5,000 years ago in China. This white miniature schnauzer is the result of the more recent bantamization of the standard schnauzer, which has also been enlarged to create the giant schnauzer. Okay. Let's see. For thousands of years, the dog's closest relative, the wolf, followed human groups and scavenged from the remains of their kills. However, when our distant ancestors settled into semi-permanent home sites, something unique in the history of evolution occurred. One intelligent social carnivore actively chose to live in close proximity to another. So began a fruitful relationship that still exists today. It is so frequently written that it has become a cliche, but it is true. The dog is our best friend. Without its help in protecting campsites, assisting on the hunt, guarding our flocks, and pulling our loads, we probably would not have evolved in the way that we have. It is also unlikely that we would have survived in many parts of the world. Here it says a long relationship. As the most dominant and powerful species in the world, we naturally assume that our ancestors actively chose to domesticate the wolf and create an obedient canine. It is more likely that, like the domestic cat, the dog is self-domesticated, that 1,000 generations ago, its ancestors were adaptable enough to see the advantages of living in the territory that surrounded semi-permanent human campsites. The wolf invaded this new ecological niche and with time its fear and distrust of humans diminished. The relationship began well over 15,000 years ago, and by 12,000 years ago, the modified wolf, what we now call the dog, had evolved. Smaller than the wolf, the primitive dog also had a head that was more domed and more puppy-like than that of the wolf, and teeth that were smaller and more crowded. It was more playful, more obedient, and even had a shorter intestinal tract than the wolf. There's so much information here. I wish I could read it all, but here we have a canary dog. Okay, it says massive muscular mastiff breeds may have been developed in Central Asia. They then spread eastward into China and Japan, and westward to Europe, and then the Americas. This canary dog was used as a cattle driver and fighting dog on the Canary Islands. Very cute. Here is the Austrian Pinscher. Right here it says, aesthetics has only recently become a primary consideration in dog breeding. Most dogs evolved for practical reasons. This medium-sized, compact, muscular, and rugged Austrian Pinscher is a typical no-nonsense, multi-purpose farm dog, bred for ease of maintenance and to guard property, drive livestock, and hunt vermin. That's what it looks like, just a basic dog, right? And then down here, this is the Lucas Terrier. Virtually all of the small terriers have similar origins as small game or vermin hunters. In this century, however, many terriers have been bred solely for companionship and have lost some of their original aptitude. The Lucas Terrier has been developed to revive pack hunting. This right here, this is a Bernese mountain dog. It says, during the last decade, this handsome breed has become a popular companion dog throughout North America and Europe. Unfortunately, the Berner suffers from a high incidence of cancer. Its life expectancy is shorter than that of many breeds the same size. And then this little dog down here. Let's see this cute little dog. The Shetland sheepdog puppy. It says at the beginning of the 20th century, the little Sheltie was a no-nonsense working sheepdog. By the end of the century, through selective breeding, its coat had become effusive and luxuriant. While its beauty has surely been enhanced, at the same time, a higher than average incidence of pancreas problems has developed in the breed. So right here in this picture we see a team of Siberian Huskies. This working breed evolved to have a tenacity of spirit and unlimited energy. Its impressive presence has made it popular as an urban companion from Italy to Japan, but new owners are often unaware of the Husky's physical and emotional needs. And over here, this is a Munsterlander taking the plunge. The Munsterlander is a superb gun dog, now becoming popular outside its native Germany, selectively breeding for specific color patterns ensures the beauty of the breed, but may also unwittingly concentrate deleterious genes. And down here, these two dogs. This is a pair of young Afghan pups. It says, while litter mates look alike, genetically they are unique. Each will develop its own personality and susceptibility to illness. The ability to clone dogs with identical genetic makeups already exists. And we're still in the introduction here. All these nice dogs here. Let's see. So this dog here on this side. This is a Jack Russell Terrier. Nice little dog. And over here, this one is an Australian, I think, cattle dog puppy. Is that what it says? Yes, Australian cattle dog puppy. And there is information on another page about each of those dogs. So here it comes into chapter 1. This is all about the development of the dog. It says the domestic dog descends from meat-eating mammals that evolved their distinguishing and unique shearing and cutting carnassial teeth millions of years ago. By 2 million years ago, 10 groups of carnivores had evolved within the canine family. The dog group consists of coyote, jackals, and wolves. When humans settled in sites of permanent habitation, the wolf followed and changed its ways. In doing so, it created the circumstances for selective breeding, through which the domestic dog was created. Okay, so this really goes into a lot of the physical traits and how they adapted over time. Let's see. Starts with creodonts, if I'm saying that right. 100 to 50 million years ago, they were a group of small, meat-eating animals. Then it moves down to Myosis. Fossil teeth from Myosis reveal that this carnivore lived during the Eocene epoch. These small animals had spreading paws, indicating a probable tree-dwelling lifestyle. And then it comes to this Hesperocyon, the possible direct ancestor of the dog family, developed in what is now North America between 38 and 26 million years ago. This is the most ancient species to have an inner ear anatomy, which is characteristic of the canine family. And then that evolved into the Tomarctus. Carnivorous mammals developed independently in different parts of the world. Tomarctus evolved in Eurasia and was assumed to be an ancestor of the dog, but recent research has questioned the link. Then it comes down to the Leptocyon. 42 different genera of dog-like canines had emerged. Of these, Leptocyon is now thought to be the true ancestor of the dog and all other modern carnivores. Modern canids. Let's see, about 2 million years ago, the foundation stock for all modern carnivores had evolved. The previous 42 genera of canines had reduced considerably to the 10 genera of today. The largest of these is Canis, of which wolves, jackals, coyotes, and dogs are members. The second largest group is the Vulpes group of 12 species of fox. Okay. That talks about the migration of early canines. Distant relatives. The domestic dog is a member of the genus Canis, one of the 10 genera of Canidae. Other members of this genus, wolves, jackals, and coyote, are the domestic dog's closest relatives. Members of the other 9 genera are the domestic dog's distant but living relatives. They include 21 species of fox, the African wild dog, the dhole, maned wolf, bush dog, and raccoon dog. All of these share a common evolutionary past and a large variety of similar behaviors. There's pictures of all of them. All of the different types of fox. The maned wolf. The raccoon dog. That's interesting. Observations of this species indicate that it restricts itself to a small home territory and has little contact with other social groups. That's a strange one. It looks just like a big raccoon. Never heard of that before. Here's the red fox and a bush dog. Here's the African wild dog. I remember seeing a fox in my backyard. I had never seen one before, and I just went out back and it was walking away with some sort of little animal in its mouth, like a little bunny rabbit or something. It just turned around and looked at me and then just walked away. Nice and slow. It didn't seem to be afraid of me at all. And then here are the close relatives, different types of coyote, jackals, and all of the different wolves. There's the North American wolf, the red wolf, the jackal is here, the coyote down here. Mexican wolf is small and robust. We have the Canine wolf, the Newfoundland white wolf, the Japanese wolf, and the European gray wolf, Arctic wolf, and let's see, down here is the Asiatic Arab wolf. These pretty dogs. Let's see. On this page is the standard long-haired Dachshund. Here. This is the Dachshund. Pretty hair. And this is the Pomeranian. That little fluffy hair there. And then chapter 2 goes into dogs and humans. It says, although the first dogs were actually self-domesticated wolves, our ancestors found these tame, wild carnivores to be extremely useful. Dog references in religion and folklore and dog images in early art illustrate the important role they played in people's lives. The dog was involved in warfare, sports, and agriculture. More recently, it has become a theme for literature, art, and films. The role of the dog in human society continues to evolve and expand, reflecting changes in communities worldwide. So here we get into the first domestic dogs, modern dogs and their ancestors. There's a little table of the first domestic dogs and their descendants. So we have the North American wolf. It says this is the major source for North American breeds like the Alaskan Malamute and Canadian Eskimo dog. Wolves from China probably crossed the Bering Land Bridge, adding their genes to the development of early North American dogs. We see here we have the North American wolf, and underneath is the Canadian Eskimo dog and the prehistoric North American dogs. We have the Chinese wolf. Chinese breeds such as the Chow Chow and Pekingese descend from Asian wolves that lived in China. Wolves from northern India and Tibet were also involved in early breeding. And then we have the Indian wolf. Asian wolves throughout India and through to Persia and the Middle East were involved in the development of the widest variety of dog breeds. And then we have the European wolf. Large European wolves probably added their genetic lines to dogs that evolved from Asian wolves. It is highly unlikely that any of the dog breeds that exist today can trace their origins directly to any one subspecies of wolf. Just pictures of some of the little dogs here. This is the Central Asian sheepdog. Robust and powerful body is larger than that of local wolves. The central self-domestication reduced the dog's size, but eventually selective breeding intentionally enhanced size, producing large guard dogs like the powerful Asian sheepdogs. Here we have the Chow Chow. The modern Chow Chow was developed in Europe as a show dog, but its ancestors lived in China and were initially eaten as a necessity and later as a delicacy. Here we have the dingo. The dingo arrived in Australia with seafarers about 4,000 years ago, having already been domesticated elsewhere. It seldom helped the Aboriginals on the hunt, but it did clean their campsites. And then here we have the Brazilian Mastiff. Let's see, pendulous lips help trap odor molecules. The dog's great strength is intimidating. Scent hounds, such as the bloodhound, developed in Asia and the Middle East at least 5,000 years ago. The Brazilian Mastiff combines the scenting ability of the bloodhound with the impressive size of a Mastiff. And here we have the Papillon. The behavioral range and shape of dog reflects the wolf's development from puppy to adult. Companion dogs, such as the Papillon, retain the attractive shape, size, and behavior of a young animal. Here we get into dogs in folklore and religion. Although humans have used the dog for more than 10,000 years, it has attracted very little folklore until relatively recently. In the great trilogy of world religions, the dog is seldom mentioned, and when it is, the reference is usually negative. Two outstanding exceptions are ancient Persia and China, where early folklore and superstition abound with dogs. Indeed, they were regularly used to participate in religious rituals. Not without coincidence. These are the regions where some of the earliest and most important dog breeding took place. It's a good luck talisman. There are many Chinese traditions concerning the dog. This 19th century silken embroidery depicts the Fu dog, which was thought to bring good fortune and happiness. Okay. Dogs in arts. The earliest European images of dogs and dog-like animals are found in cave paintings in Spain. These have existed for over 12,000 years. By the time Egyptian wall paintings and hieroglyphics were being produced 6,600 years ago, distinctive breeds had appeared. These were similar to today's greyhounds and mastiffs. Later, Spitz and terrier-type dogs were also depicted. In classical Greek art, stylized images of dogs appeared in both pottery and sculpture. Today, images of the dog appear in art forms throughout the world. That's about canine collectibles. Dogs in literature. The dog in pulp fiction. The American publication Weird Tales is one of many examples of the popularization of the werewolf through pulp fiction. Okay, dogs in film. Lots of movies with dogs. Let's see. There's the Hush Puppy dog. Let's see here. This basset hound is a prime example of the successful and powerful way dogs can be used to promote a product. Dogs in sports. We have greyhound racing. Hounds were raced on straight courses for hundreds of years. With the development of the mechanical rabbit early this century, greyhound racing became a popular sport worldwide. Dogs in the service of humans. Let's see, ever since the dog chose to live near human habitation, it has served people's needs. Originally used as a watchdog, it soon accompanied hunters in pursuit of game. Shepherds used dogs to guard and later herd their flocks. Throughout the northern hemisphere, dogs were used as draft animals to pull carts and sleds. For centuries, dogs have been used for a wide range of military purposes. Today, new roles have developed. Dogs are trained to see for blind people, Here for deaf people, assist the disabled, detect illicit drugs in airports, and for rescue work. So let's see. To guard and protect. Dogs have guarded homes since people first discovered that the wolf's natural ability to bark could be exaggerated through selective breeding. Okay, so here we have war heroes, recognizing the dog's positive role both as a messenger and in finding injured soldiers on the battlefield. After World War I, the British created a Canine War Medal for military valor. Let's see. Special uniform identifies qualified hearing dog. The pretty dog. New service roles continue to develop. Ever alert, random bred dogs act as ears for deaf people, while calm, sensible dogs like retrievers or retriever crosses like the Labradoodle, it's right here, make ideal guides for blind people. And dogs as companions. So let's see. The dog has provided people with companionship since it was first attracted to human habitation at least 12,000 years ago. But before the 20th century, this was a minor role for the dog. It was used primarily for work. Today, the dog is most valued for the companionship it offers. Although urbanization in Europe, North America, Australia, Japan, and the great cities of Asia and South America has cut many people off from the natural world, the dog has accompanied them to the cities. Its future is secure as an important member of both urban and rural households. There's lots of different ways that dogs serve as companions to people. There's two beautiful dogs. Let's see, next page is the Kuvas and the Visla. I've never heard of these dogs. They're so pretty. I guess that's the Kuvas and the Visla. Very pretty. So there's specific information about all of the different breeds later in the book. So chapter 3 goes into canine design. So it says the dog has a powerfully muscled body, a resilient heart and lungs, teeth developed to catch, hold, and tear, excellent insulating hair, and a sense of smell so sophisticated that its power is far beyond human comprehension. Although its attitude to food still resembles that of the opportunist hunter-scavenger, its reproductive cycles have been enhanced through domestication. integrating all of its body functions and responsible for emotional control, is a superbly adaptable nervous system, augmented by an efficient group of chemical hormones. Okay, it starts to get into the specific anatomy of the dog. So, this whole thing would be very interesting to look at, but I'm going to have to stop the video at some point because this book could take hours to go through. These pretty dogs. So I think that I will stop the video here and maybe come back to it at another time. There's just so much. I would like to read this about all the different breeds myself. So I hope you enjoy just this little bit of a look into this book about dogs. And I have lots of books that I go through part of the way, but I promise I will come back to each of them. And if you like this one, let me know. Or if there's anything special that you'd like for me to look at in this book, just let me know, okay? I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.